Hey there you guys! So, new location, new room setup, that sort of thing. So today I'm going to be doing my July reading wrap up, which includes the books that I read before BookTubeathon, the books I read during BookTubeathon. So let's get started with the 3 books that I read before the BookTubeathon started. And the first book was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling with the new beautiful covers. I loved reading it for the second time around. It was so fun. And I believe I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because, you know, it's Harry Potter. The second book that I finished was We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. And oh my gosh, I loved it. The first 50 or so pages I was a little skeptical, but by the time I got further into it, it was so good. And in the end, the last probably, I don't know, quarter of it, it was just a page turner and I could not put it down. The last book that I finished before the start of the BookTubeathon was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. This was obviously another book club pick for my friend and I's book club. We are currently getting through Harry Potter and we've decided to continue on after Harry Potter. So right now it's pretty much just Harry Potter in our book club, and then once they all go off to school, our meetings are going to be held over Skype and that sort of thing. And then we got into the BookTubeathon, and so the first book that I picked up for the BookTubeathon that fulfilled the challenge of complete a book in one day was Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. This is kind of a prequel story to the story of Peter Pan, and it was really, really good. Again, for the first probably half of the story or so, I really didn't enjoy it, and I kind of just started skimming because I knew I had to get it done by the end of the day. And so, but by the time I got to probably, again, the last quarter, it was so good and the story just picked up. I really, really did enjoy it, and it was kind of like a prequel to Peter Pan. So if you do like Peter Pan and kind of the stories of that, this kind of offers another view at it. Obviously it's by a different author and it does feature the main character of Tiger Lily, but it also features some other Peter Pan favorites and that sort of thing. Something for the BookTubeathon that you guys probably noticed if you follow me on Twitter was I kept this running board of what was going on. So I had kind of the challenges and then what books I was reading, and I ended up finishing 6 out of the 7 challenges by combining some of them. The only challenge I didn't complete was to actually read 7 books. The next book that I read during the BookTubeathon was The Chaos of Stars by Kiersten White. This book is kind of a book about a person, or a woman, who is the daughter of 2 Egyptian gods, and you kind of see how this plays out, how their traditions and roles kind of play into the story and how it affects her life. And then she ends up going off to live with her brother who moved to San Francisco, and it's a whirlwind of activity. And I read this during the BookTubeathon to read a book that you bought because of the cover. The next book that I read for the BookTubeathon was Replica by Lauren Oliver. This book I ended up reading with my friends as well. We decided to each read it a different way. So I read Lyra and then Gemma. Catherine read Gemma and then Lyra. And my friend Ethan read Lyra, Gemma, back and forth, back and forth. We have not met about it yet, and my boyfriend Colin is planning on reading it and choosing a way to read it so that he kind of gets a different perspective. I think it's going to be really, really interesting talking about it with one another. Ethan and I kind of already talked about it a little bit with one another, about how our reading experiences were so much different than one another. Because we each read it a different way, we each got introduced to certain things in the plot a different way. I don't want to give too much away, but definitely if you have the opportunity, read it and discuss it with other people, because this I think is going to be like the best book club book that we ever could have picked. And the second book in the duology Ringer is coming out in October, and I've already pre-ordered it and we're so excited to read that one as well. And we are planning to read it the same way that we read Replica, so that it can kind of be a constant discussion point with how we will talk about the book. The next 3 books that I read during the BookTubeathon did happen to be graphic novels, so I did end up finishing 6 books, but 3 of which were graphic novels. And the first one was Low, Volume 1, The Delirium of Hope. This was not my favorite read. I think I ended up giving it a 2 or 3 on Goodreads. It is something that the art style was really, really pretty. I loved the art style of it. It was super colorful and super vibrant, but the story behind it did not seem super fleshed out. I feel like this volume could have been 3 or 4 volumes. There were a lot of things going on. I found it really hard to kind of figure out what was happening. Like, a lot happened in this, so this isn't a graphic novel that I would recommend to anybody to pick up. The next graphic novel that I picked up was The World of Flashpoint, featuring the Flash, which is obviously a superhero comic bind-up thing. This was loaned out to me by my boyfriend Colin because he is in love with the Flashpoint universe. I have to say this wasn't my favorite. I do love the show The Flash and reading about the Flash and his storylines, but there were some storylines in here that I didn't really enjoy. I did like probably 2 or 3 of the stories out of here, but there were 5 stories in here. There's definitely one especially that I ended up just skimming through because I didn't enjoy it as much as the other ones. And the last graphic novel bind-up thing that I picked up this month was The Wicked and Divine, Volume 5, Imperial Phase Part 1. Kat and I have been reading these kind of simultaneously. This is her copy, and oh my gosh, this story, as I said in my vlog, the first section is written in kind of more of a newspaper format, magazine format, and I love the art style of it, but I didn't exactly like the fact that normally the story is told in very artistic ways and you don't really have to, you look a lot more into the pictures and the art rather than the story, and because the pictures and the art tell the story, and so having a full fleshed out story within this didn't really work for me just because of the way the universe has been set up. I thought it was a very interesting thing to kind of take on, but I personally just didn't enjoy reading it. Alrighty, so those are all of the books that I finished during the month of July. The only book that I plan on definitely getting through the month of August is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. Obviously this is a bit of a beast, so it's going to take me a lot longer than the other ones did, but I do plan on finishing this during the month of August. Other than that, I don't really know exactly what I plan to finish. I kind of want to just pick a book when I feel like it. I know that my friends and I are going to try and pick some other books to read alongside Harry Potter, because now that we've hit the point in the series where the books are going to take a lot longer, we do want to still kind of meet like every other week or so with a book that we've read, and so we're planning on picking some other lighter reads like Replica and things that are more contemporary or a little bit faster paced than the big behemoths that are 500-600 pages long. Replica was 520 pages, but it was one of those books, it's kind of a contemporary sci-fi novel, and so it really was a quick read and it didn't really take many of us much time to finish. I'm not sure if Kat's finished it quite yet, but Ethan and I both read it in about a 2-day span. He actually borrowed my copy to read. But yeah, so like I want to kind of get back into, I want to maybe read a classic this month because I haven't read a classic in a while. Like, I'm planning on rereading Anne of Green Gables next year, the whole series. I want to read Little Women because obviously that was the book that was in the Mother-Daughter Book Club that I directed and stuff. And also, Ethan, I'm talking to you. He was mad I didn't mention him in my vlog the other day. So Ethan and Colin were both in the show, and Kat ended up helping kind of student direct beside me. She was kind of my assistant director, worked on it with me and kind of helped me with it. So he was mad at me that I didn't mention him, so I figured, you know, why not point that out right now. But that's the book that they read in their book club, and so I want to read it and kind of actually delve into that book because I haven't read it yet myself. I have 3 copies of it because of the show, but I haven't read it myself. So yeah, I guess that's kind of it for this video today, guys. I will try and film a video about every other week or so. If I can get a video done every week, I will. If any of you guys have any suggestions for other videos I should do, challenges, videos with friends, any sort of that thing, just comment down below and kind of let me know, because I'm coming back and I don't know what to do with myself, with what tags I should do, what videos I should do, that sort of thing. If you want to see Ethan and Kat and Colin in more videos, be sure to let me know. Ethan and Kat are kind of going far away for college, but when they're back in town, I can be sure to stock up on some videos with them to release every once in a while. Just kind of let me know what you guys want and I'll try my best. Obviously, Nicole, you have been the one person within booktube that actually comments on every single one of my videos, so if you have any more ideas, just tweet me. You guys also can follow me on Twitter and Goodreads, friend me on Goodreads. If you guys are reading anything good, if you guys have any suggestions for books that you want me to read, comment down below. And yeah, I will see you guys all in my next video. Goodbye!